How you doing today, sir?
I'm fine, sir.
That's good. Glad to have you here today.
Glad to be with you.
Glad you finally linked up with me. So let's just get right into it. The Friendship Nine: John Gaines, Clarence Graham, William McLeod, W.T. Massey, Robert McCulloch, James Wells, Mac Workman, Thomas Gaither, and you, Mr. David Williams, Jr. How did you guys come together and began to protest against inequality, segregation, and injustice?
Well, most of us, except for Tom Gaither, we was local, Rock Hill, and we graduated. 6 of us graduated in 1960 together.
Okay.
Clarence and Wells had graduated the year before, and they went to New York for a year, and they came back. We all started a friendship together in September 1960, and the protest had began that February 1960. So when we came to school, we continued that in September.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you guys, you felt the need for the protest, definitely, though.
Oh, definitely. We, like I say, we had bought into it in February of 1960, but we was in high school.
Okay.
So we couldn't take part in it.
Okay.
Yeah. So
once you went to college,
yeah,
you just got into it and everything.
Yeah.
Okay. So back in 1961, over 63 years ago, you along with 8 other Friendship Junior College students staged a sit-in at the McCrory's 5 and Dime lunch counter in Rock Hill, South Carolina. You guys did this in order to bring about change regarding civil rights issues. Prior to that date, how many protests had you guys participated in?
well, what we did and started in September, we had training, and then we would go down during our lunch. Like we got 2 hours from lunch. We went to school from 8:30 to 11:30, then from 1:30 to 3:30.
Okay.
So when we get the 2 hour break, we eat lunch, and then we go down and we would walk the picket line and during the days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned training. What was like?
Well, you go in there and you're taught what to do in case somebody say something, spit you or hit you. You're not supposed to fight back.
Right.
Because if you fought back, if the police came, the police gonna help the guy that attacked you. So
Right.
just by being nonviolent, there was less problems.
Less problems, definitely.
Yeah.
Was that something that was easy for you guys to do? I mean, once you were trained, was it easy for you to cope and deal with whatever was thrown at you?
It was easy for you to do until it happened. Like I say,
Right.
Very seldom anybody got beat up. The guy hit me once in the temple with a cardboard, and I stopped him. I wanted to fight, but I realized that I couldn't because the young lady behind me, she said, "You got to keep moving."
And what was it that you were hit with?
It's like they take a cardboard wrapper, like I say, come out of a box, something like that. They fold it up.
Oh,
and
made it real hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
And but she told her I had to keep moving.
Yeah.
That's the only incident I had. But the funny thing about it, I got a good look at the guy. So the next day we was down on the campus, and he came down there working on a soda truck, delivering soda. And I said, "Whoa, he in our territory now."
Right.
But what I did, I went on and told him, I said, "You remember me?" He looked at me. I said, "You the guy that hit me yesterday downtown." And he got nervous. I said, "You got nothing to worry about." There's about 20 or 30 guys around. So I told him, "I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'll watch the truck. You do your job, and won't nothing happen to your truck. We'll have no more problem." And that's what we did. Because I told the guys you couldn't do that. Couldn't do anything to him or nothing like that. So I never had no more problem. I never seen the guy again.
You never seen him after that?
No.
He should have been thankful, though.
Well, no, really, because like I say, if we had done something to him, that would have been the whole school. Because they'd come down on the whole school.
Yeah, I got it.
That would kill the whole thing we were trying to do.
Yeah.
We kept going back and forth. And see, if one got up, another one sit down.
Okay.
Kept doing that like that. And they got where, now woodwork, what they did one time, they took all the stools up. And the guy working in there lived across the street from one of the guys. So for 2 weeks they didn't have no students, so we didn't picket in front of Woodwork. We picketed in McCrory, and we were going there. So after 2 weeks, that Sunday, he called a guy and told him to come work. They gonna put the stools back down. Mm-hmm. So the funny thing about it, now he went down there and put the stools down, and he came back home and told us, "Hey, they got the stools back down there." So when Monday came, we went to class. Mm-hmm. With lunchtime, we went down to picket, and we come running dead in the wood working. The man said, "I didn't know these students was back in here." And the guy working there, he just took off, went around the corner like he didn't know nothing. So we never told that.
Yeah.
He's deceased now, so they can't do nothing.
They can't do nothing to him now, huh?
No.
Now, from what I understand, you guys walked like a couple of miles to the store. What was going on through your head as you trekked towards McCrory's?
Well, like I say, every day we went down there, we had a purpose in mind. We were going down there trying to bring about change. Mm-hmm. And but when we finally decided to go to jail, Mac and I had missed the weekend, the planning. So when we ran into them, we was like a block from the school. And they say we was going down to picket. It was 8:30 in the morning. Mm-hmm. And I was saying, we don't do it this time of morning. He said, "Come on, this is the day." So Robert, he was a short guy, he come up to my waist and he look up and like he gonna do that. I said, "Man, what you trying?" He called me chicken. So I looked at Mac and said, "Come on, Mac, let's go see what these fellas gonna do."
Yeah.
And on the way down there, they told us they was going to jail. And I'm looking at Mac and saying, "I ain't told nobody I was going to jail." So it's like, we decided how we was going to do it. We're going to go in there 2 at a time. And as the girls were walking the picket line, and 2 guys go in, and they would arrest you and take you out back to the jail. And it was 10 of us in the original, until all 10 was in there. Then the girls would leave and went back to the campus. Mm-hmm. And that was on the 31st in 1961. So by the time they got us all processed, the morning court was over. Mm. So we got to wait till the next morning to go to court. That was on the 1st. Because
y'all had got arrested early in the morning.
Yeah. And by the time they processed us, they had the fingerprints and all that stuff. Because when this was going on, the court was going on when we were getting arrested. And so we had to wait till the next day before we went to court.
Yeah. You had mentioned earlier that the plan was for two of the students to go inside at a time.
You had to get arrested.
Okay, but there was there was no police officers in the front or anything to stop you from going inside.
No, they were there, but they didn't stop us.
They allowed you to go inside.
They allowed us to go in there. But like I say, when we came up Friendship, we came up Black Street. We turned on, it was Trade Street then, and when we made that right turn on Main Street, it was enough police down there for each one of us to have 5 persons to lock us up. Yeah. 5 policemen apiece.
Yeah.
Of the 10. That's how many was down there. They even had SLED was there. The county.
Yeah.
And all of them. So, and you thinking about it, like I say, take all this, but you never did. You didn't give them the satisfaction of resisting or nothing like that, because that would have been
bad.
Bad for them.
Gotcha. What do you recall most about a segregated Rock Hill?
Where you can go and where you couldn't go. Like I say, that was 2 Rock Hills. I remember the guy that was the editor of the paper, when they dedicated the sign outside with the marker, the historic marker, he told them about it was 2 Rock Hills. It was 75% white, 25% black, but we was like in certain section, mm-hmm. and the white was in control of everything.
Right.
And you didn't have no say so. So they was allowed to do whatever they wanted to do,
Yeah.
Whatever law they want to come up with, they can make that law, and you didn't have no say so in it. So Like I worked downtown there. In 54, I started shining shoes at the barber shop about 3 doors down from there. And most of the politicians and the mayor and all that, I know who they was,
Okay.
But we never had no conversation nothing like that, unless I shined their shoes or something like that. But,
So just like growing up as a young person, you already knew there was boundaries.
Yeah.
It was just...
Yeah, you knew that. Like I say, you knew you couldn't sit at the counter. You knew you couldn't drink out of that fountain. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, you sneak and do it. And they say, that water don't taste no worse. No better. But, it's just things you did. But like I say, you never say anything about it because, you didn't want your parents to know that. Mm-hmm. But you was told. And you knew, because I used to go with my dad a lot of places, and sometimes, it was just, it could make you mad. Here my dad is old man, and the kid younger than me gonna call him by his first name.
Yeah.
That used to burn me up.
Yeah.
And one day I tried to correct it, and he did me like that. Mm. That means for me to set up.
Yeah.
So I let it go, but like I say, to me it was like respect. Mm-hmm. Now if I'd have said that to his daddy, it'd have been a whole different ball game.
Right.
So
yeah. So you already mentioned that when you guys went inside the McCrory's 5 and Dimes lunch counter, you basically went inside with the sole purpose to sit down at the counter in order to order food. So each time 2 of you went inside, there was already 2 seats already available.
Lord, see, at that time in the morning, one nobody there being served. It looked like they told everybody else to stay away. I don't know whether they got the word or not.
Yeah.
But like I say, the place was practically empty. Just the waitress was there. Mm-hmm. And might have been a few people down on this end. It's about 10 stools in there. So there was always 2 there for you.
Okay.
You get in.
So, and the plan was to sit down at the counter and then try to get a menu and order some food.
No, I wasn't trying to get you was going to order food. Mm-hmm. But instead of taking your order, they would tell you, we do not serve so-and-so.
Okay.
And before she can get the words out of her mouth, the man got you, he can take you to jail.
Before she could even get it out, they would scoop you right on up.
Yeah, they scoop you up.
They scoop you right on up.
Yeah.
Now, you already mentioned that you guys didn't resist, but was there ever a time where the police actually, try to rough you guys up or attack you or anything?
Well, when he took me back in there, taking me back, we didn't know what wedges was, how they had you jacked up like that. Mm-hmm. When it got to the back door of the restaurant, he slammed me into the door. I'm saying, now, what is he trying to do? So when we got to the back of the jail, when we going in there, it was a lieutenant was sitting back over here in the door here. I said, well, he gonna do it here. So I dropped my shoulder into the door when he pushed me and hit the door. Bam, I'm getting a thing. The lieutenant jumped up out the seat. He wanted to know what was going on.
Yeah.
And then he looked and saw it. He just sat back down because he figured he knew what the guy was trying to do. But I didn't help the situation. So that way, instead of him hurting me by me not being prepared,
right?
I was prepared
for it. You prepared yourself for the impact.
Yeah.
Yeah. After being arrested, you guys were placed in some sort of like holding cell. Is that correct?
Yeah, we held in cell overnight there. In that jail, they had like a row. They had about, I think, 4 cells, and it was enough room for. It was 10 of us, so we had about 3 of us in each cell.
Okay.
And so we had to spend the night there. Then after court the next day, they just took it out to the prison camp.
So, okay, we're going to get to that in a second. But what do you recall about being in that cell overnight? What was the conditions like or whatever?
It got cold in there.
It got cold in there?
Because they didn't give us no blanket or nothing. All you had was what you wore.
What you wore in there.
School, and like say, at that time, it was in the January, February.
Yeah.
The temperature was mild. Mm-hmm. But when you left home, then at night, we would get chilly.
Temperature drop, yeah.
And then they didn't give you nothing warm, so you kind of shivered at night.
And what about food? Oh,
I think they gave a bologna sandwich.
I was going to say a bologna sandwich. Yeah.
That's all we had to eat that day.
Uh-huh. And so you're saying that the very next morning they had court for you guys specifically to handle the protesters.
They had every morning they would have a coat. If anybody got arrested the night before,
So every morning, the very next morning.
But like, Monday morning, usually when they had the big coat, they had a lot of folks from the weekend.
Yeah.
But this is Monday and Tuesday, wasn't that many for them. So we were mainly not the only one there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who came up with the strategy of jail Nobel?
Tom Gaither had came up with that, and he had discussed that with some of the other groups, SNCC and CORE. That's who we were working with.
Okay.
And nobody had ever, put it to the test.
Yeah.
So when we did it, we got a lot of support from other
organizations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, but prior to that morning of you all getting arrested, you didn't know anything about. You didn't know anything about that part?
No.
Okay. And you guys knew what jail time meant. You knew exactly that it was going to be the hard labor prison farm.
Yeah.
You knew that.
Yeah.
And y'all had prepared. You didn't prepare, but the other guys had prepared for it.
Well, they said that one guy brought us toothbrush and other, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I didn't bring nothing. But like I say, knowing how to work and use a shovel and pick and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I knew how to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it wasn't foreign to me. But
right.
A lot of the guys didn't know how to do. You had to show them how to. Like even sling blade. Some guys didn't even know what it was.
A sling blade. What is that? Like a sickle to do?
What they called it old time had a sickle, but this thing it was made like this, and the blade here, and then you had a handle on it, and you cut the grass with it.
Cut the grass.
Yeah.
Just high weeds, basically.
Yeah, that was before lawnmower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So in court, you all were found guilty and sentenced to 30 days in jail because you refused to pay the $100 fine. Mm-hmm. That's the reason why you were sent to jail, because they were going to just give you a fine.
Yeah, they take $100 30 days, and I'll never forget Lawyer Finney turn around and say, "Well, what you fellas going to do?" We got the guys going to do the talking.
Yeah.
Said, "We going to jail." I said, "You ain't talking for me." I'm thinking in my mind, but like I say, I couldn't say that, and I didn't want Robert to be talking about. I was scared and chicken.
Robert's a little short dude.
Yeah, okay. But like I say, they know that if I went in there, I was going to work, and I'm glad I went. Because most of them guys, they never did no hard labor. They didn't know about that kind of work. Yeah. Because we had a garden in our backyard, and we used to do it with the shovel and picking and stuff like that. So I know how to use that.
So that would have been a total of $900, which at that time, that was considered a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
So, you guys had it?
Who?
Well, you had $100 for yourself if you really needed to?
Hey, I might have had $3 or $4, for lunch. But I had no money. Matter of fact, it would have been $1,000 because there was 10 of us. And the one guy, he left, he got out because he was on a football scholarship. He was from Plainfield, New Jersey. Okay. So that's why we ended up with 9. But for the money, but the reason we didn't want to pay the fine because the money had to come from the people. Yeah. Every time we would have like a rally, the people would come and they give their nickels and dime, quarters, $1 to raise money for whatever situation we had arisen during that time. So instead of taking the money from the people, we're going to put the owners on the county and the city and the state that they got to take care of us. Exactly. So. Yeah, to relieve the burden from you guys, the protesters, of having to pay. Mm-hmm. So the Friendship Nine spearheaded the jail Nobel strategy of protest. Did you all recognize the effectiveness of it right away? No. Well, see, really, we didn't. A lot of things was happening outside that we weren't made aware of it. Mm-hmm. And so we didn't know all these people that came to town. They say one time 300 people came to town, go to jail with us, but they didn't have nowhere to put them.
Okay.
So they kind of, let them go and told them, But then we had 4 guys that came and went to jail with us. And one guy was from Johnson C. Smith, Charles Jones and Charles Sherrod. They were part of SNCC. And the young lady from Tennessee State, from Nashville, Diane Nash and Ruby. And them 4 of them came down, and they did the time. But they wouldn't put them. The 2 guys came out there where we was, but they wouldn't let them stay out there because Charles Jones, the kind of guy, he wasn't gonna be quiet. So they put them in the city jail.
Okay.
In York.
They try to separate.
Yeah. Okay. That would have been protest after protest out there.
So did you all start serving the 30 days immediately? That very next day?
Well, when we were at court that morning, that afternoon, we was out there on the chain gang. So we started working. As soon as we got out there, you had to, change into the uniform. Everything was hand-me-down, as we call it.
Yeah.
Somebody else done used them. And it was hard to find shoes and stuff to fit, especially had big feet,
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about, I know you just talked about it a little bit, but your experience at the labor camp throughout those 30 days. Like every day it was just getting up and just working from...
Well, we just every morning we 5:30 and we up, get ready, have breakfast, and we'd usually be on the back of the truck before 7 o'clock.
Okay.
And they would take it to the site, and sometimes we would cut back brushes from the road, and then we would go to the sand pile and load trucks with shovels on the dump trucks.
On the dump truck with shovels.
With shovels. No backhoe, shovels. And then once they brought us into Rock Hill, the only time we ever worked in Rock Hill, we came into the neighborhood, we laid a drain pipe in front of this store. It was at the time we didn't know the name of the street. It was Workman Street and Flint Street. So after we got out, I went back and found out where it was. Well, we know where it was because the guy that had the store there, we knew the guy that had the store there. Yeah. We call him Pasquale. And we used to go in there. The man let us take a break and go in there and get a soda, get some water.
Okay.
But, by that time, see, the captain, like I say, it's just like anything else. If the man standing there with a gun and a shotgun, and he told you to do something, you done went to jail for that reason, and as long as you were doing that, you didn't have no problem. Right. And matter of fact, we were supposed to get down in the ditch. You got the ditch, you got to roll the pipe on you, and then you got to put your feet, get it back out from under there. And so when it's time to do that, I said, I ain't going in that hole. He said, Scoop, get in that hole. I said, oh, Lord, this man know my name. I don't reckon he know my family do. So I got in the hole, backing out of the biggest one. So we had to get down in there and let the pipe roll in on it, and then we slide it up out. And, that's the only time we worked into the city. Okay. And so most of the work was out at the sign pile, out in the rural area. Okay. Cutting back the brushes from the road and stuff. Yeah.
So for the most part, guards or the COs, they were pretty cool with you guys, or did they deliberately make it harder for you?
They didn't make it hard. Like I say, you made it hard on yourself if you didn't do what they told you to do. Yeah. So we didn't do it. When we first went out there, see, they put us 3 in each group. Each captain had 3 of us or 4 of us in the beginning, and that way, when we were like supervisors. Okay. So when we first went out there, cause we'd be standing around there holding shovels like the city guys, and the other guys be doing the work because they know what they were doing. Yeah. And that didn't go too well. They said, well, them guys ain't doing no work. So they put us all together in one group. So we had to do all the work then.
So they make sure y'all was working
Make
at
sure
that
we
point.
were working, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was quite an experience. You know, like I say, it's like going to Boy Scout camp. Now, there's rules and regulations you got to follow. And if you get out of line, then, you know, you had to pay for it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that you all had a lot of support from the community and your families. Did that help you cope with the time that you were, you know, away?
Well, see, there was a lot of men in the prison there. And a lot of them, you know, they might have been a little older than me, but I knew a lot of folks because I lived close, proximate downtown, and I would see the guy there, like we at the park, and everybody would come to that park, and that's where you got to know everybody. You in the town, you know, you just about knew everybody.
Yeah.
So I never was, you know, so much worried about surrounding. You know, we had all kind of people in there, but you know, but one thing they told us not to worry.
Yeah.
One guy say, if anybody mess with you, I don't care who it is, God, anything like, let me know.
Let you know.
We call him Slim about 6'5", 250.
Yeah.
And he had nothing but muscles. And so we never worried about that.
I got you.
Yeah.
So how did you feel once you was released?
Well, it was a release. But the funny thing about it now, if they had brought us straight down 5 from the prison, we could have stopped at Willie. He lived right down on 5. And he could have got dropped off there. But what they did, they come down and took it down Eastwood, came around 322, and they let us off over on Finley Road, on the corner of York Road and Finley Road. And we were about a mile from the campus. Oh, okay. And then we had to walk to the campus.
So they just dropped you off and said,
yeah,
do your thing.
Yeah, but now the guys say, if you got put off from there, you had to be off the yard in 15 minutes. So at least they got us close to town.
Yeah, okay.
And so we got to the campus and we turned the campus out because like we rang the bell and everybody wanted to know why the bell rang one time for class to be out. And they looked out and saw us and they turned the whole school camp. And the president come running out there, he wanted to know what was going on. and when he saw us, he just threw his hand up and he joined the party.
Yeah, so everybody was celebrating you guys was released.
Yeah.
So how did the conviction and jail time initially affect your lives going forward?
For work in Rock Hill?
Yeah.
There wasn't no work in Rock Hill. But after I graduated and went to New Jersey, and everywhere I applied, I always put it down. But
it never affected you.
It haven't affected
getting a job
there.
or anything.
No, not in the law.
So while you were in Rock Hill, if you try to get a job and you put it down on the application, it basically
all I had to do was put my name there.
Oh, you just had to put your name. Everybody knew your name.
Oh, they knew that name.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. That one of them boys. Because I mean, before I left town, I must have went to every meal plant around town. And I was going to one day, and one of my buddies was working there. I had another nickname. He's a rep. These white folks ain't give you no job.
Give you no job.
You waste your time.
He told you right from the start.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so that was one of the main reasons that you decided to move to New Jersey was because of the fact that you couldn't get any work?
Couldn't get no work, and plus I had an obligation.
Oh.
I told your wife about it, but she won't tell you. Ain't that right?
Okay. All right. When did you all realize that you had made some progress in the fight against Jim Crow?
Well, like I say, progress is always slow, especially when it comes to they got where, because after that, the Vietnam War kicked up. Okay. And all the people that were getting killed in the war was our people. Mm-hmm. And when they came home, they didn't have nothing to do. They didn't want to get a job. Then they started opening up. They got jobs and stuff like that. And they working in plants and mills and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And before that, you could work in there, but or you either pushing a broom or something like that.
Right.
But these guys, when they came back from the war, and they was able to start making progress. Because the first time I came back home, after they had opened up the counter, I went in and sat down and got something to eat. And I didn't tell them about who I was, nothing like that. Mm-hmm. And I went by, make sure I went by myself because I didn't want anybody to be running their mouth, So I sat down in there. I say, it ain't all what I thought it was.
Yep.
But see, thing is, Mac and I, we talked about it one time. I say, now, if they hadn't been smart, instead of refusing to serve us, they had served us. They didn't ask for their money. They could have got us for stealing because we didn't have the money to pay for the food.
Wow.
Mac said, you right. I said, Mac, I had my money. I don't know what you. I said, I'm going to pay for you, but the motherboard, they in trouble. But, that's what we thought about that thing, But I can say, but I keep telling people the reason we did it, we didn't do it for the publicity and all that. Because, like I say, publicity don't last.
Yeah.
Your deeds will last longer than your publicity. And then when people pat you on the back, and, they talk about all this and that, you have to think about who doing it.
Yeah. And
then all they doing is just trying to make you look good or make themselves good, or like they appreciate what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And when again, they're saying that just to get you off their back, thinking you might say something to them. But I never looked for, even wanted it. You know? So if they had never called my name and never say nothing,
you was good.
It wouldn't have bothered me.
So in 2015, the Friendship 9, your convictions were vacated, which meant that you all shouldn't have never been charged with in the first place. Mm-hmm. When that took place, how did that make you feel?
Well, I wasn't no jailbird no more. I was mad. I said, that was my badge.
It was a badge?
Yeah, my badge.
Honor?
Yeah. So, because when we first came out of jail, they had a thing about, what kind of bird don't fly. You had to think about it. And boy, I said, jailbird. So I was jailbird. So that when they took that away, I got my wings back.
I got you. Mm-hmm. And while you were in New Jersey, living up there, and you worked whatever you were doing and everything, did people up there know that you were part of the Friendship 9? Or you never spoke about it?
No.
Oh.
No.
Okay. I mean,
I was up there 20 years. No, 20 years. Matter of fact, Willie was up there for a while. We was in the same area. Mm-hmm. Mac was in New York. We never talked about it.
Okay.
And matter of fact, my daughter graduated from high school in 78 and came down to Winthrop. I brought her down here, and in 81, after 20 years, mm-hmm. they had something in the paper about it. And she called me up like she was my mama, where she read me up down the walk. I didn't tell me what.
Oh, so you had never even told your daughter
about
it? Okay.
And she gave me a fit. I said, well, I'm about to talk about it, been bragging. He went over there. You need to talk to her,
She was getting in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And so when I came back, wasn't nothing going on then. Mm-hmm. I went to Charlotte. I was up there about 25 years. Never talked about it up there. Okay. And then when all this stuff went down, when they did all this stuff, mm-hmm. recognizing all this stuff, and the guys up there, and one guy, matter of fact, George Dunlap, the chairman of the Mecklenburg County Commission, he was our community policeman at the time when I was up there. And he going to invite me up there to the church. He going to give me a day up there, Mecklenburg County day. Mm-hmm. And he told me, man, I know this guy for 30 years. He ain't know none of this stuff. So they let me speak. I said, George, if you've been in jail, you don't tell the police you've been to jail. And the folks say, you right. Yep. I said, yeah, you've been checking me out. I want to know, what did they do?
Yeah.
But, I never talked about it.
I got you.
Like now, if you don't ask me nothing, I ain't gonna tell you nothing.
Tell it. So you got started getting some recognition, and even the author Kimberly P. Johnson, she wrote a children's book, No Fear for Freedom, the story of the Friendship Nine. When did you find out about this book?
Oh, we worked on that about 3 or 4 years.
So you knew they were working on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was illustrated by Vanessa J. Thompson. Mm-hmm. And on the back it says, the unwillingness to listen can make discrimination last, but learning about history can open up the past. Though the Friendship Nine wanted success, they were not afraid to fail, even when those struggles landed them in jail. So.
Them ain't our words.
I know they were these for kids. But that's a children's book. It's pretty cool, though. You know, your story is always going to be out there. Kids can learn from it, you know?
I got the one of these days I'm going to read it.
Okay, well.
No. I don't want to read it.
I know you ain't.
I got a copy at home. I don't want to.
I got you.
I told somebody at the actor, said, yeah, I read the book. I said, no, I'm going to read it. I lived it.
You lived it, exactly. You already know what's up.
Yeah.
Yep. So after some time, you guys eventually moved on with your lives. And as life normally does, it takes you to different paths and things like that. Over the years, did you guys maintain your communication with one another?
Well, Mac and I, we've been stayed in touch from day one. Mm-hmm. You know, I was closer to Mac than the rest of them. And I know where to find Willie. And then Gaither, when he finished his work, he was in Slippery Rock. But like I say, for us, you couldn't get directed most of the time. But see, like, I could call Mac and Mac could call him back.
Yeah.
The rest of them, they were busy. They was, but, you know, we stayed constant. Most of, you know, like now, I call and check on everybody, but a lot of them, you know, they don't call back or something. Like say, some of them, you know, may be in condition.
Yeah.
You know, I don't ask questions.
Right, I got you.
I say, you know, just leave a message. If I hear from them, fine. But you know,
yeah,
I just, you know, make sure they was okay.
Gotcha.
But it's just that it's been a long journey.
Yeah.
Know? And it's been 63 years, and see that, and it's like that's why I didn't want to do it on tomorrow. I said, tomorrow be 50 years since I buried my first wife.
Okay.
And the kids, they talk about getting together, so I don't know what they're gonna do.
Gotcha. Yeah. All right, so the old 5 and Dime lunch counter is now a new restaurant called the Counter, spelled with a K.
Yeah.
Have you had the opportunity to eat there?
Yes.
What do you think about it? Is the food is okay, or they brought back?
Well, it ain't the 5 and Dime food.
I got it. Yes.
You ain't got no hamburgers and
okay.
Can't get no hot dog, no hamburger like that.
Yeah.
But it's good food. It's fancy.
It's a little fancier.
It's a little too fancy for me. I'm a country boy.
Okay. You don't care about all that fancy stuff.
I don't like fancy. I like something I can sink my teeth in, something to stick to my ribs. You know, but it's good. You know, like I say.
Okay. And what about, don't they still have like the stools there with you guys' names on the back of the stools? Or
yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we've never eaten there before, so maybe we may give it a try or something sometime. Check it out. What are your thoughts on how things are today?
A mess. Things are a mess today. And the one reason why it's a mess, that everybody want to be in control of everybody else. Mm-hmm. See, you only got one person you're responsible for, and that's you.
Right.
Now, I ain't got no better to tell you how to live. And I'm living like hell myself. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you how to live.
Exactly.
I'll tell you what to do. You know, like I say, everybody's a free agent. Just like I say, on the football team, they get ready, you become a free agent.
Right.
Everybody's a free agent. That's the way God planned it. And when you start talking about you can't do this and you can't do that, who gave you authority to tell me what I can do?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
They make these laws to always hold us back.
Yeah.
And hold everybody back. See, anytime you try to chop me down, you got to come down with me, Because if I go down, how you going to chop me unless you come down and chop me?
Right.
So I keep telling people, you can't hurt a man that's already hurt.
Yeah.
You know, you might bruise him a little more, but see, he can handle it. But see, if you ain't never been bruised, you ain't been abused, you know, because all these people that thinking things gonna be better for them because of what they gonna do to you or somebody else, hey baby, it's coming around.
Yeah.
It's gonna come around. And I tell you, some of these folks ain't gonna be able to handle it.
Yeah. I agree with you. There are folks in this country right now who are trying to prevent, you know, certain historical events from being taught in schools and things like that. What's your thoughts on that?
There's somebody else trying to dictate your life.
Yeah.
And see, if you don't know your history, you're not gonna have a future.
Right.
Because you got to know where you came from, and you got to know where you're trying to get to. You want to strive to get better, and not only make things better for yourself, make things better for everybody. You know, you don't do something for yourself. Everybody does all about me. No, it's supposed to be about us.
Yeah.
And that's why they say JEUS. What they say? That's Jesus was for us all. So, you know, and then when you talking about evangelist, I'm a Christian, you ain't got to tell me you a Christian.
Right.
You got to show me.
Yep.
Don't tell me you what you are. If you every time I see you, well, I was baptized so and so, and I've got this. I told a guy one day, I said, you know what? For somebody to say that got all this, why do you keep repeating it?
Yeah.
I said, evidently you don't have nothing.
Yep.
Oh man, I said, well, hold on, wait a minute now. You want an opinion, then I'll give you one. You do not have to keep telling everybody what you are.
Exactly.
If you ain't living it,
Right.
then you ain't got it.
Yep. That is correct. After all the things that you've experienced in your life, what is some advice that you have today for young people who are about to embark on adulthood?
Number one, education. Number two, make as many friends as you can, because you'll never know who you're going to need.
Right.
And always save some money. And I can tell you, hide something somewhere where nobody don't know where it is but you.
Definitely.
And then don't get too old when you can't find it either.
I hear that.
Yeah, well, like I say, education is that is one of the reasons why we have so many problems now. We got all this money from the government and went to school. A lot of people didn't go to school. And all the technology come out, they can't do the job.
Right.
Now they're hollering about replacement. You being replaced because you don't have nothing up here.
Gotcha. Yep.
So, you know, they got to think about that thing.
And so this is an election year. There's a lot of people talking about all kinds of stuff with these different politicians and stuff. What do you think we're headed with this election?
Well, let me tell you like this. If we ain't got no democracy, we ain't gonna have nothing else.
Exactly.
All this other stuff they talking about, if they take democracy from us, I don't care what you got. You on a dictatorship. All you gotta do is act the folks in Russia.
Yeah.
Look at that man over there. He got a place out there, $10 million house out there, and he got so much security around it. And then you gonna emulate that man. You want to be like that man. In order to be like that man, you gonna have to take everything from everybody else.
Exactly.
And all these people that running and getting their money and holler about, I love this man. You better think twice.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're asking for.
Exactly.
And sometimes we run our mouth and we want this, we want that, but
until you get it.
Till you get it. And then they say, oh Lord, what have I done now?
Absolutely.
I just like I say, you married a certain woman or married a certain man. Oh, that man is gold. He's gonna. He said, Lord, what in the world? A guy told me one time, said, man, that first 6 months, you want to eat him up. After that next 6 months, you wish you had to kill him. Yeah, wish you had to eat him up.
Yeah. All right. So you guys were an integral part of the civil rights movement. You guys are heroes without capes. You were brave, and you all sacrificed a lot in order to make things change for the better in this country. I just want to give you your flowers today and letting you know that I truly appreciate everything you guys did for the struggle. I'm glad that we actually sat down today and discussed the story of the Friendship 9, and I really appreciate you stopping by. All right, Mr. Williamson?
Yeah, I appreciate you having me, but, save all the accolades, because I'm passing the torch to you. It's your job now.
I got you.
All right?
I got you. I
So
hear you.
we going to go that way.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Okay.
All right, well, it's a wrap. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Okay.